Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's lesson on volume of cones. So before we start with the volume of cones, let's just review the volume of spheres. Cylinders. The volume of cylinders was basically volume equals pi r squared times height, yeah? So let's just say that I gave you a cylinder and I told you its radius is 7 and its height is 8. Solve. So here you would go, okay, pi is always 3.14. So you'd go and you'd replace everything in your formula for its value. 3.14 times r, which is 7 squared, times height, h, which is 8. Now remember, 7 squared isn't 7 times 2, it's 7 times 7. So 3.14 times 7 times 7 times 8. All you do is plug that in the calculator, 3.14 times 7 times 7 times 8. Boom, you've got it, 1,230.88. That's how easy it is to find the volume of a cylinder. The volume of a cone is the same exact thing, literally the same exact formula. The only difference is at the end you divide it by 3. That's it. So let's say for here I tell you, and obviously this is a cone, think an ice cream cone. Let's say I draw out this beautiful cone. This cone has a radius of 5 and it has a height, let's say its height is 7. Solve. Well, first things first, you rewrite the formula, volume equals pi r squared times height divided by 3. Pi is always 3.14. So let's start replacing things with what we know. Volume equals 3.14 times my radius, which in this case is 5, squared, times my height. My height here was 7, divided by 3. So remember, 5 squared is not 5 times 2, that's wrong, it's 5 times 5. 5 times itself 2 times, yeah? So let's just go ahead and rewrite it one more time in case we get confused. Volume equals 3.14 times 5 times 5 times 7 divided by 3. Okay, let's multiply first. 3.14 times 5 times 5 times 7. That gives me 549.5, but don't forget, I still need to divide by 3. So let me go ahead and divide that by 3. And my answer should be, more or less, it's not perfect, I'm going to round, more or less it's 183.17. I'm rounding it to the nearest hundredths place there. And by all means, you should be doing this on a calculator too, seeing if you get the same answer. Okay? Let's give you another example. Let's say that I tell you, you have a cone. Okay, so you have a cone. Your cone in this case has a height of 8 and it has a radius of 2.5. Pi is always going to be 3.14. Solve. Well, super easy. I start by I have no idea what's going on here. My computer sometimes likes to be difficult. Alright, so I told you the height in this case was going to be 8, right? If I remember correctly. So my height, 8. Alright, and there's my cone. Brilliant, perfect. Let's get to it. So, rewrite the formula. That's what I did right here. Now let's start plugging things in. Volume equals 3.14 times my radius, which in this case is 2.5 squared, times my height, which is 8, divided by 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get this done. First of all, please remember 2.5 squared is not 2.5 times 2. It's 2.5 times 2.5. 2.5 times itself 2 times. So let's go ahead and rewrite it one last time. Volume equals 3.14 times 2.5 times 2.5 times 8 divided by 3. Let's multiply first. 3.14 divided by 2.5. I'm sorry, 3.14 times 2.5 times 2.5 times 8. Okay, that gives me so far 157, but don't forget you still have to divide that by 3. So 157 divided by 3 is more or less 52.33, and I'm rounding that to the nearest hundredths place. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's your volume. Let's do one more example. You remember how sometimes when you're finding out the area of a circle or the volume of a cylinder, where they don't give you radius, instead they give you diameter, right? Well, the same thing can happen here with the volume of a cone, but it's super easy. If they tell you diameter equals 12, you need to find out, remember, this formula here does not have a diameter in it. It only has a radius. So all you have to do is find out what the radius is. Well, my radius is half of my diameter. So if diameter is 12, half of 12, 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then pi is going to be 3.14. And let's imagine that for this cone that they're giving you, your height equals, I don't know, 9. Okay? Let's go to the formula, let's plug it in. 3.14 times my r, which was 6 squared, times my height, which was 9, divided by 3, right? Remember, 6 squared is not going to be 6 times 2, it's going to be 6 times 6. So let's rewrite it just in case. Okay? Let's go ahead and do 3.14 times 6 times 6 times 9 divided by 3. So let's go ahead and do it. 3.14 times 6 times 6 times 9. So far that is 1017.36 divided by 3. And when I go ahead and I divide that by 3, I get an answer of 339.12. That's my final answer. That's what you do if you're given a diameter instead of a radius. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for volume of cones.